Right now at 6, a suspicious fire in Wentworth draws a massive response from area crews.
And a mild start to the day ahead of what will ultimately be a cooler day today than what we saw yesterday. Look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Easter is right around the corner. We'll see how one organization is putting a creative spin on finding eggs.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It is April the 14th. One more day and then we will be officially halfway through the month of April.
Already. Wow.
Yeah, we talked by the end of last year, early this year, hoping that this year would slow down a little, but it doesn't feel like it has really slowed down at all. It is crazy that it is halfway through April, but that's all right.
Yes.
Weather's not been too bad the last week and a half, and it will continue to be okay for the next few days, and we got some changes on the way, but today, not bad. Let's start that look outside. Downtown Pittsburgh. Skies at this point over Pittsburgh are still mostly clear, but clouds are beginning to roll in. We'll start to go partly cloudy out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also looking pretty good this morning as well. Future track by noon showing us mostly cloudy. Again, clouds will increase through the morning hours for us. Winds will increase too out of the north, gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour. Now today, even though we've got a very mild start because a cold front has just passed through, what will happen is while it's not having an impact on our temperatures immediately, it will impact how warm we do or don't get heading into the afternoon. It will actually keep us, though, pretty close to normal for our highs today, but compared to yesterday's 80s, it's going to feel a lot colder out there. Some of our southern counties could even make the low 70s today, but most of us 60s. 61 in Joplin right now, as well as Pittsburgh, and of course from north to south, there's that boundary. So it's a little cooler up north, some low 60s. You get a little further south, we're right around the mid 60s out there. These temperatures slowly falling back a bit. Eventually, again, it will warm, but just not as much as yesterday. All right. Kids getting on the bus, 60, partly cloudy, north winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy this afternoon, breezy, north winds gusting to 25. Temperatures about 68 out there. Mostly cloudy through today, our highs into the upper 60s, so seasonably cool. And then some of us, again, some of our southern counties might be a couple of low 70-degree readings out there. Now, we will remain seasonable heading into our Tuesday. We'll just get a lot more sunshine out there. And then we got shower and thunderstorm chances. Some of them, not that big of a deal. Others we're keeping a pretty close eye on. Details on all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, Sunday morning, an SUV overturned in a crash just outside the Joplin city limits on West 7th. Now, the westbound Dodge Durango left the roadway near Black Cat Road and overturned onto the fencing at John Myers Truck and Foreign Salvage, barely missing the building. Now, the driver was trapped inside the wreckage. Carl Junction Fire Department spent about 20 minutes to cut the top off the SUV using the jaws of life to free the 60-year-old driver from Galena, Kansas. Now, she was rushed to a Joplin hospital suffering serious injuries. The Missouri State Highway Patrol are investigating the crash. They state in a preliminary report the driver was not wearing a seatbelt. And 2 people are in custody following a search warrant executed by the Cedar County Sheriff's Office. The special response team executed the search warrant on April 8th at a residence near Stockton, Missouri, related to stolen property. Cedar County Chief Deputy Clay Jeffries says as the team approached, a male suspect fled into a wooded area. Now, during the search of the property, the team found items linked to recent burglaries. Jessica Eubanks was arrested on site for felony possession of a controlled substance. The male subject was not located on the same day. However, law enforcement returned to the residence on April 10th and arrested Corey A. Eubanks on charges of felony burglary and stealing. The investigation is ongoing and further charges may be filed. A structure fire was reported at 302 Spruce in Wentworth, Missouri Friday. Multiple fire departments, including those from Pierce City, Freistatt, Jasper County, Monette Rural, and Monette City, responded to the scene. Now, the Newton County Sheriff's Office, alongside the Missouri State Fire Marshal's Office, is investigating the fire as suspicious. The Sheriff's Office is seeking information from the public and encourages anyone with details to contact them. An Independence, Kansas man has been charged with 8 counts of aggravated assault following his involvement in an incident last February. David Earl Etchison Jr. was arrested on April 7th. On February 25th of last year, Etchison drove his blue Chevrolet Silverado into the west parking lot of the former Mercy Hospital in Independence. Now, witnesses say he was traveling at a high rate of speed before slamming his vehicle into concrete bollards as well as a dumpster. Now, the impact with the dumpster caused the dumpster to fly onto the roof of the northern porch of the fire station nearby. Etchison faces up to 34 months in jail. His first court appearance is set for April 22nd. And the City of Independence Police Department in Kansas is seeking public assistance in the ongoing investigation of a man who has been missing for 5 years. Dietrich Julian Foster has been missing since April 12, 2020. Now, despite extensive efforts by the police and the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, Foster's whereabouts remains unknown. The police are urging anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward to help solve the case. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. A Forest Park Church in Joplin hosted a unique Easter egg hunt Saturday at Missouri Southern State University. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
Easter is right around the corner, which means Easter egg hunts will be a must for many families in the 4 states. One egg hunt, hosted by Forest Park Church, made their hunt a bit different than others.
If you haven't been this close to a helicopter before, the wind, I mean, it's exhilarating to see. It's quite an experience to see them drop all of those eggs. So the looks on the faces, it's excitement. It's a little bit nervous, but it's a good time.
People came by the thousands to hunt for eggs, but it was also a time for the church to help kids understand the true meaning of Easter.
We wanted to have an environment where people could come, have safe, family-friendly fun, hear the great message of the gospel and Jesus' love. So yeah, overwhelmed, overjoyed.
With it being the church's first year doing something like this, they already have their sights set on next year.
This is something we want to do annually, and the one takeaway I have is more and more and more. We probably need more inflatables, more food, all of that, which is a great problem to have. So we're excited.
The helicopter flew above, dropping thousands of eggs in a designated field. Organizers gave a countdown. 1! And the hunt was on. In Joplin, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Now, the Joplin Police Department was on site with officers to ensure public safety at Saturday's event. 7,550 people attended. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Amazon is warning its customers that prices may rise as the global trade war heats up. Plus, President Trump's new tariff threats spark fresh concerns about the economy. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Galena City Park. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, more job cuts are hitting JCPenney's parent company. Now, Catalyst brand is laying off some corporate employees as part of an ongoing review of the newly formed business. Now, the latest cuts affect 9% of corporate roles. Now, that's in addition to the 5% of corporate staff let go in February. Catalyst Brands was formed in January. Now, it's a joint venture between JCPenney and Spark Group, the owner of Brooks Brothers, Lucky Brand, Eddie Bauer, Nautica, and Aeropostale. Now, before both rounds of cuts, Catalyst had about 5,000 corporate employees. Well, consumer sentiment has dropped in the U.S., reaching the second lowest level on record. Now, according to a survey from the University of Michigan, consumer sentiment plunged 11% this month. Now, that's the second lowest reading on record, going back to 1952. April's reading was lower than anything seen during the Great Recession. President Trump's volatile trade war, which threatens higher inflation, has significantly weighed on Americans' mood over the last few months. The Michigan survey found that worsened leading up to Trump's announcement last week of sweeping tariffs. Well, Amazon's CEO says shoppers can likely expect some prices to rise due to the ongoing global trade war. Andy Jassy told CNBC the online retailers network of third-party sellers will pass that cost on to consumers. Now, on Wednesday, President Trump paused his latest round of tariffs for 90 days for all countries except China. Jassy said Amazon is doing everything it can to try and keep prices low for customers. Jassy said Amazon has done some strategic forward inventory buys. He said so far the company hasn't seen changes in customer behavior in a meaningful way. This morning, new concerns about the economy after President Trump told reports that Chinese electronics would be exempt from his tariffs were not true. Now he's promising even more tariffs. Derek Waller has more from New York.
Wall Street's tariff-fueled roller coaster ride may not be over yet. On Friday, U.S. Customs released a bulletin stating Chinese electronics would be excluded from reciprocal tariffs. But then Sunday, Trump posted online there was no tariff exception announced on Friday. Electronics, he said, are just moving to a different tariff bucket.
So it's not that they won't be subject to tariffs geared at reshoring, they'll just be under a different regime.
It comes just days after Trump announced a 90-day pause on most of those reciprocal tariffs. Still on board Air Force One Sunday, Trump told reporters to expect new tariff announcements soon. Today, President Trump is also planning to meet with El Salvador's president at the White House hours after the country released video showing 10 alleged gang members being handed over by the U.S. military to police in that country. The meeting comes amid an ongoing court battle over a Maryland father the administration admitted was sent to a notorious prison in the Central American country by mistake, the Supreme Court ordering the administration to facilitate his return. The president also reacted to Russia's attack on the Ukrainian city of Sumy, calling the attack that killed dozens a mistake.
They made a mistake. Look, you're going to ask them. This is Biden's war.
But on 60 Minutes Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky invited Trump to see the carnage for himself.
Hospitals, churches, children destroyed.
The White House has not yet responded. I'm Derek Waller, CBS News.
Now, meanwhile, a new poll out yesterday shows 75% of Americans believe tariffs will lead to higher prices in the near future, with 48% saying they believe prices will also increase long term. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
We are starting pretty mild out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker already showing the increasing clouds across the area, and that's really all we have to worry about today. Again, temperatures will be a little cooler, but they'll be seasonably cool as we head into the afternoon. You can see the dark skies. You can see some of those clouds off in the distance from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. As I mentioned, we're a little cooler today than where we were yesterday, but it's not going to be that bad. We do have some shower and thunderstorm chances this week, though. We'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
Well, welcome back. Lou Horton joins us in the studio to teach us how to make a no-bake blueberry dream dessert. It looks fantastic. Good morning, Lori. Happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you. It's always good to be back on a nice Monday for a change.
Yes.
This is going to be a really great dessert this morning, perfect for our Easter dinners that are probably coming up this weekend, right? The thing we always have, you've got a big group over, you run out of oven space. This one's no bake, and it actually is best if you do it the day before.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
It's going to be one you can get out of the way Friday or Saturday, pop it in the back of the fridge and kind of forget about it and have one thing marked off of your list, right?
Always nice.
Super simple. This is a 9x9 pan.
Okay.
So when you go back and you check out this recipe later on komnewsnow.com, you're going to find it says 8 or 9 inch pan. The main thing to remember is you need a deeper one.
Right.
A lot of our little basic 8x8 ones we have are like 1 7/8 inches, pretty short.
Yeah, you want pretty tall.
And if you'll notice our finished one here, this really fills it up in the 9-inch pan. So make sure you've got a deep one. That's really important.
Yes.
All I've got in my bowl here to start with is a stick of melted butter.
Okay.
And you can use a little less than a whole stick. I just went ahead and melted an entire stick, and then I added a little bit more of our graham cracker crumbs that it called for to compensate, because I like a nice sturdy thick crust on there.
Delicious.
I'm just going to take a fork and kind of blend this together a little bit with some sugar, just plain old white sugar, and then dump that in with my melted butter. And this is just going to make that crust. We don't have to, again, bake this or do anything else to it. We just want to mix it together and kind of make a nice sort of wet sand consistency.
That's the consistency we're looking for, wet sand.
We do that a lot with these baked bottom desserts. That's a lovely food sort of a consistency, but you go with what you know, right? And just get that all blended together. Lightly mix that graham cracker mix so that it's just kind of all incorporated, because what we're going to do is just pat this nice and firm in the bottom of our pan. It'll make a nice even layer that then once we refrigerate this and it sets up and that butter kind of solidifies again, it'll actually make it pretty easy to kind of cut and take your pieces out without
Yeah, I can see that right there. It's
extremely
real
messy.
clean.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. You could actually take a spatula and cut nice square pieces out of that.
Delicious.
And you can do this in a glass pan or a metal pan. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Again, one less thing to wash when you have a sink full of dishes after a dinner. I think this is perfect. And it makes it nice where you can send it home with somebody if you want to. You don't have to worry about getting that pan back. So we'll spread this in here, and this is where your handy dandy little flat bottom measuring cup comes in. This is my guy. This is my go-to guy. We all have that one tool that's a useless tool, but he's fine for a measuring cup. But it really works well to pat the bottom of a pan when I have something like that, because he fits into those corners and it's really flat on the bottom. Some of your measuring cups have a rounded edge.
Yes.
So this guy works great.
Wonderful.
And we want to pat it down nice and firm, because again, that's what's going to make it easy to cut later on. Get that butter really compact in there. And we'll make a nice even layer. So when we come back, we're going to go through the rest of the layers, because this again is just a really nice layered dessert. It's going to give us some nice fresh spring flavors and something that's going to be a little different than the pies and the things that everybody else will bring.
Perfect for Easter.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds like a plan, Lori. Thanks so much. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:24 now on this Monday morning, and we are starting with downtown Pittsburgh. You see those clouds continuing to increase out there. Still partly cloudy for some, becoming mostly cloudy for others. Modi Camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin looking pretty good as well as folks get their day underway. Future track is agreed. Of course, we're going to be mostly cloudy for the majority of today. It won't be until late this evening and overnight that clouds will begin to clear. Now, we had a cold front push through this morning, and while that didn't have a major impact on our temperatures this morning, it will keep them cooler today, but seasonably cool as we go into the upper 60s for most of us, maybe a couple of low 70s in our southern county, and maybe an isolated sprinkle or two, but like 99.9% of us will be dry today. Skies again clear overnight, and as we head into our Tuesday, we're looking great Tuesday. It's going to be a bit chilly to start and cool out there, but seasonably cool as we head into the afternoon with nothing but plentiful sunshine across the area. Then as we head into our Wednesday, winds will begin to shift out of the south, so we're a little milder, a little close to normal for Tuesday night, rather, into Wednesday morning. Clouds will begin to increase, and we have opportunities for an isolated shower, perhaps a rumble of thunder through the day on our Wednesday. And our temperatures, though, much warmer out there as we start climbing back into the 70s across the area. And then we got those thunderstorm chances later this week we'll talk about as well. Our Camera 7th and Rangeline, and so I say, from the Pittsburgh side, there's a lot more cloud cover than from the Joplin side right now. 61 in Joplin, north-northeast breeze at about 5. Temperatures around the area, by the way, there's that cold front that pushed through. Low to mid 60s for just about all of us out there. So it's a mild start, but these temperatures don't move much as we go through the morning either and into the afternoon. About 60 to start, mid 60s by 11. And again, depending on where you are, those clouds increasing out there. Into the afternoon, mostly cloudy, upper 60s. The other side of this, those north winds, occasionally gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. So a bit on the breezy side. Those winds will begin to ease up late evening and overnight, still north, but at 5 to 10, and back into the low 40s for our lows tonight. Then we head into Friday. Friday, we have another cold front coming in, another setup here. You can see by about 5 o'clock, initially, just some spotty showers and some isolated thunderstorms. That's why we really want to watch it, too. As well, it doesn't look impressive on this broader future track view. That could be the potential for supercellular development ahead of this front, which doesn't move a lot. So by 8, now you got a filled-in line of storms along I-44, really even stretching back to the northeast, back from Chicago, St. Louis, through our area, down toward Oklahoma City. And again, 10, even by 11, it still isn't moving much, and will continue with scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the evening, overnight, and into our Saturday, and again into our Sunday. And by late Saturday into Sunday, we're looking at what could be some fairly heavy amounts of rain. So flash flooding could be another concern that we have as we head into the upcoming weekend. But we do have that severe threat that's a concern. So for Thursday, it's off to our north at this point. We could have a couple of rumbles of thunder on Thursday. It's Friday night into Saturday that we have that possible for severe weather for most of the region. Again, Friday night into Saturday morning. So we want to keep a very close eye on this because this is several days out, but there's at least enough data right now suggesting that this area be highlighted for the potential for severe weather heading into Friday evening. This showed up yesterday with their long-range outlooks. It's back again today, so it is something we want to keep a very close eye on. Again, tomorrow, upper 60s, sunny, 70s return all the way through Friday. Then we'll see what happens with those evening thunderstorm chances. We cool back into the 60s for Saturday. Scattered storms through the weekend, and then a few lingering showers Monday before we have pretty decent weather for next Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. So topping Health Watch this morning, some encouraging news about the effectiveness of popular weight loss medication. The European Association for the Study of Obesity found the drug tirzepatide, which is marketed as Zepbound or Mounjaro, can help people lose weight for up to 3 years. Now, doctors say some patients lost 10% of their body weight, while others lost as much as 30%. Well, it's often said COVID doesn't hit kids as hard as adults, but a new study published in JAMA found children who get COVID face higher rates of kidney disease and worse kidney function. Now, the risk is even greater for kids with pre-existing kidney problems. The study says more monitoring is needed for children after a COVID infection. And more people are forming romantic relationships with AI companions, and that has psychologists concerned. Now, an opinion paper in the journal Cell Press warns that AI relationships can interfere with human relationships because AI relationships seem easier. Now, AI companions can even give harmful advice. The paper cites at least 2 people who committed suicide after receiving AI chatbot advice. And that's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, residents at Ascension Living Village get a chance to participate in an Easter egg hunt.
And we've got clouds increasing across the area. Temperatures not increasing as much. A look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, the Fort Scott Historical Site holds its springtime reenactment. We'll take you there.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It's April the 14th, just about halfway through this month as it is. And of course, I've had a little break from the shower and thunderstorm activity, which again was nice considering a couple of weeks ago what we had to go through. Unfortunately, we're entering the peak really of severe weather season over the next few weeks, and we do have some additional thunderstorm chances later this week we're keeping an eye on, but we'll get to those in just a moment. First, we got to get your Monday started, and thankfully no severe weather of any kind, and no rain really expected at all today either. Let's start with that look downtown Pittsburgh. Again, clouds increasing out there, and they will continue to do so across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin looking pretty good as well this morning. Future track already showing the mostly cloudy skies for just about all of us by noon today. So here's the thing. We had a cold front pass through. In fact, on our temperature map, which I'll show you in a moment, it's just to our south. Didn't play a major role in our temperatures overnight, but will keep us seasonably cool as we head into the afternoon hours for us today. A stray sprinkle or two is possible, but again, I think 99.9% of us are going to remain dry, just a little cooler and breezier as we head through the day. 61, Joplin and Pittsburgh, those two temperatures not moving much. In fact, a lot of our temperatures not moving too much. There's that cold front. Again, it's just outside of our area, so that's why we have the north winds now. We're low to mid mid-60s for just about everybody. The good news is not seeing any 50s out there. Not that that's bad. It's still well above average, but not any cooler than the 60s. But again, temperatures don't move much today. Kids getting on the bus about 60. Partly cloudy. North winds around 5 to 10. Those north winds start increasing, gusting to 25, 68, and mostly cloudy when the kids get back home. Into the afternoon, again, mostly cloudy. Upper 60s for just about all of us. Maybe a couple of low 70s down south. And of course, those gusty north winds. We will see more sunshine for our Tuesday, but we'll still be seasonably cool across the area. And then temperatures start warming, and then our rain chances start increasing. Details on all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. With Easter celebrations taking place, young ones aren't the only ones getting in on the fun. The residents at Ascension Living Village also got an opportunity Sunday to have an Easter egg hunt of their own. Family members of the residents participated in the 3rd annual Easter egg hunt at 3 different courtyards throughout the facility, separated by age. Now, with some residents unable to leave the facility, officials say this provides them an opportunity to get in on the holiday fun.
I think that it was a really good thing for everyone to be able to come see everyone. I think that it made a lot of people's day to be able to see all of these kids having a good time and seeing them be able to come together and have fun with their friends and family.
Over 60 kids participated in the Easter egg hunt. Well, the Fort Scott Historical Site hosted their spring Civil War encampment over the weekend. Volunteers played different roles to share stories about the Civil War and the significance of Fort Scott during that time. Now, the purpose of the encampment is to inform the community about what life was like during the 1800s and what roles different people played. Now, people had an opportunity to go on a guided tour of the national park, learning about artillery, cavalry, and blacksmithing. Group discussions were also held to talk about things from Civil War medicine, candle making, and what camps consisted of during that time period. Well, the spring art walk took place in downtown Pittsburgh Saturday. The event was free to attend, featuring a variety of artists, musicians, and dancers. Performances took place throughout the day on 2 major stages, and attendees filled up on local food trucks. Now, you're encouraged to share your experience on social media using the hashtag Pittsburgh Art Walk 2025.
I really just want to make a connection between our local artists and our community. Artists are such an important part of our culture, of our livelihood. Art brings so much emotion and feeling, and it's something that our group really enjoys, and we just want to share with everybody.
More events by the Pittsburgh Arts Council are planned for 2025, including the Art Extras Swap and Shop, Fall Art Walk, and Holiday Art Market. Well, the Freedom of Road Riders held a fundraiser Saturday to raise money for their lobbying operations in Jefferson City for the right to repair. The event also served as a way to raise awareness of rider safety. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A major lawsuit begins today that could break up Facebook parent company Meta. And we have a cooler and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Galena City Park. In Consumer Watch this morning, coffee shops across Northwest Arkansas are keeping a close eye on President Trump's tariffs. Jacob Murphy.
Everything that everyone is drinking is coming from somewhere. Coffee has been undervalued since I've been in the industry for 20 years, if I'm being honest.
The NWA coffee community is starting to feel the impacts of President Trump's tariffs.
Majority of what we buy is South America, Central America, and East Africa.
Each of those regions now under at least a 10% tariff.
Every morning we wake up, sort of the numbers are a little bit different, so we're all still a little bit in the dark.
Onyx Coffee has several locations in the area, which equals a lot of coffee.
And with coffee, you're playing a long game, so even if we purchase coffee today, we're not going to receive it for months from now.
Co-founder John Allen is preparing for a price jump.
Basically, everything that we bring in is going to go up by about 10%.
And says it's already taking a toll on the industry.
It's definitely not a great time for the industry as a whole, but we're sort of a half glass full mentality, so we see, we hope to just weather the storm
And today, a mega lawsuit kicks off that could decide the fate of Meta. The Federal Trade Commission is accusing billionaire Mark Zuckerberg's company of stifling competition with its purchases of Instagram and WhatsApp. Meta says the purchases were necessary to compete with other popular apps like TikTok and YouTube. Federal prosecutors want the Facebook parent company to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp. Well, that's according to a Federal Aviation Administration. Right now, the FAA and National Transportation Safety Board are investigating what caused the sightseeing aircraft to fall from the sky, killing a family of 5 passengers from Spain and the aircraft's pilot. CBS News reached out to the owner of the company, who responded, "Our sole focus is on assisting the NTSB and its investigation in grieving the tragic loss of life." And Minecraft ruled the box office for the second weekend in a row, taking in more than $80 million domestically. Now, the film is now the highest grossing Hollywood release of the year. Animated Christian film The King of Kings was second with more than $19 million, and spy action film The Amateur brought in $15 million to take third. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're going to start with that look, of course, downtown Pittsburgh here, where the clouds continue to increase, starting to go mostly cloudy already. This will be a gradual increase across the entire region this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range lights looking back to the north. Of course, that's where those clouds are coming from, so it's a little grayer up to the north of that camera there. On to the future track, you get mostly cloudy skies into the afternoon. We had a cold front push through, so what that does is, while it's not doing anything now, it keeps our temperatures cooler than yesterday, but about normal, as we're going to go into the upper 60s for most of us. And again, maybe a stray sprinkle or two, but I believe the majority of us will remain dry heading into the afternoon and evening. 61 in Joplin. Temperature in Pittsburgh's now come up a couple of degrees, now to 63. And around the area, there's that cold front just outside of our region. We've got low and mid 60s for the majority of us this morning. So a mild start to the day, that comparing that, by the afternoon, these temperatures don't move much. We should be in the upper 40s, so a pretty mild start out there ahead of what will be, again, about 20 degrees cooler than what we saw yesterday across the 4 states. 60, partly cloudy when the kids get on the bus. North winds around 5 to 10. Mostly cloudy this afternoon. Those north winds now gusting upwards of about 25, and temperatures right around 68 when the bus brings them back home. We have some shower and thunderstorm chances that we're watching as we head through this week. Go over those details with you in just a moment. In the full forecast, we'll also celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Vladimir Dutip. Coming up on CBS Mornings, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Gale going into space. We're here in West Texas, getting you ready for this morning's launch, and with extended coverage from blastoff to touchdown. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states, and we are starting in Columbus with Blakely Gerber celebrating birthday number 2. A very happy birthday to you, Blakely.
And in Walnut, a happy 6th birthday to Sutton Kickler.
And down to Fairland we go with Haley Rice celebrating birthday number 21. Happy birthday, Haley.
And over in Neosho, a happy 21st birthday to Skylar Home.
And down to Goodman we go for Jessica Kennedy celebrating birthday number 47. Well, okay, sorry, I read ahead. 46. Jessica, I'm not making you any older than what you are, and you're not that old as it is. Happy 46th birthday to you, Jessica.
And a happy 47th birthday to Laura Earl over in Jasper.
That's what happens when you start reading ahead and all the numbers begin to blur together. Heading over to Columbus, Marva Holt celebrating birthday number 82 today. Happy birthday, Marva.
And continuing the list with a happy birthday to Julie Steyerwalt in Chanute.
And David Volk celebrating another year wiser in Carterville.
And in Webb City, a happy birthday to Marissa Houston.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries, and of course, we love celebrating with you. Hopefully, you love celebrating with us when we don't jumble all the numbers and words together. And if you would like to join us for a great celebration, Elise has some information for you.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information indeed. And we've got some important weather information to go over with you here. Over the next couple of days, nothing too crazy. And then we're watching as we head into Friday. We'll tell you why in just a moment. For the rest of the day, again, mostly cloudy skies. Again, some of us already there as clouds continue to increase across the area today. Future track showing maybe a sprinkle or two. But in all honesty, I've said it a bunch, but really I think 99.9% of us should remain dry. But with the clouds and everything else, you might get a stray sprinkle. Now, that cold front that pushed through overnight, it's now just south of us, is just enough to bring our temperatures back down to seasonable levels. So yes, compared to yesterday, it's nearly going to be a 20-degree drop in our highs, but it's going to be a seasonable type of day for us, and that will continue into our Tuesday. Now, overnight into Tuesday morning, skies begin to clear. We're a little below normal out there to start Tuesday, low 40s and maybe even a brief moment of a couple of upper 30s here or there. Tuesday afternoon, though, sunny skies, wind still out of the north, but not gusting like we're expecting today, and our temperatures will reach seasonable levels, as I mentioned, back into the upper 60s. We go Tuesday night into Wednesday. The winds will shift out of the south. You know what that means? Here comes the warm weather again. We're back about normal for our lows as we start Wednesday, back into the upper 40s. Clouds increase Wednesday, and then we have opportunities for isolated to widely scattered showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder. But outside of that, we are mostly cloudy, and we are warmer, going back into the 70s. Clouds, as you can see, increasing from our camera at 7th and range line. Not long ago, it was a little clearer than that. It looks great, though. The sunrise, the clouds, you know, you always get those great mixes there for a beautiful start to the day. 61 in Joplin. So that's the other thing. Don't let this very mild start fool you. Typically, if we're starting this warm, it means we're going to be a lot warmer later in the day. Not the case this time, because there's that cold front. All it did, though, is it just keeps our temperatures average for us into the afternoon. We should be in the upper 40s to be average now. We are not. Low mid 60s across the region as we get this Monday underway. So we're going to be starting about 60, mid 60s by 11. Again, depending on where you are, you may reach that mostly cloudy state before your neighbors do. But otherwise, all of us mostly cloudy heading into the afternoon. Upper 60s out there. A couple of low 70s will be possible in our southern counties, but the majority of us into the 60s. Those north winds gusting upwards of 25. North winds 5 to 10 tonight. Still mostly cloudy through most of the evening. Then that gradual clearing takes place. We'll fall back down into the low 40s tonight. And as I mentioned, we're watching Friday evening. I'm going to tell you why. We have a severe potential as we head into Friday evening and early Saturday morning. So, as we saw a couple of weeks ago with Wednesday storms, several days out, there were already highlighted areas because the computers were in agreement that a severe event of some type was going to take place. Now, I want you also to understand, when the computers are in agreement like that, it does not necessarily mean a major severe event is going to take place, okay? They can be in agreement that you're simply going to see the potential for strong to severe storms. It doesn't mean an outbreak by any means. They just sometimes agree very far out about certain weather events. That seems to be what's taking place as we get closer to Friday evening. So what happened yesterday is in that long-range severe weather outlook, parts of our area were added to that, and that is continued for today's update, which we'll show you in just a moment. So by Friday evening, we've got this boundary out there. So we're looking at showers, thunderstorms from Chicago down to Oklahoma City. The other thing is based at least right now on the data, the front itself that's going to set off these storms doesn't move much. So we get this development of storms all along that corridor. I-44 again from OKC to St. Louis and then back up towards Chicago. We start to see shower and thunderstorm development, and we'll have that potential for strong to severe thunderstorms, especially with the initial activity late Friday evening. Now, these showers and storms will stick with us as we head into the weekend as well, but at least right now, Friday looks to be our better chance if we're going to see anything strong, because that's Thursday, and here we are Friday. And of course, if this map was zoomed out, it stretches from Chicago back down toward Oklahoma City. So it's something we want to keep a very close eye on over the next few days, as we could get some strong to severe storms late Friday. We'll have another look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment. And we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. We're going to see how dogs in Las Vegas are sniffing out hard-to-find bed bugs.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. David Earl Etchison Jr. of Independence, Kansas, has been charged with 8 counts of aggravated assault. On February 25th of last year, Etchison slammed his truck into a concrete bollard and dumpster in the parking lot of the former Mercy Hospital in Independence. Now, the impact with the dumpster caused the dumpster to fly onto the roof of the northern porch of the fire station nearby. Etchison faces up to 34 months in jail. His first court appearance is set for April 22nd. And 2 people are in custody following a search warrant for stolen property that was executed by the Cedar County Sheriff's Office. Now, during the search of the property, the team found items linked to a recent string of burglaries. Jessica Eubanks was arrested on site for felony possession of a controlled substance, and Corey A. Eubanks on charges of felony burglary and stealing. The investigation is ongoing and further charges may be filed. And multiple agencies responded to a structure fire in Wentworth, Missouri Friday. The Newton County Sheriff's Office alongside the Missouri State Fire Marshal's Office are investigating the fire as suspicious. The Sheriff's Office is seeking information from the public and encourages anyone with details to contact them. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got a seasonably cool day. And like I said, it's going to feel colder compared to yesterday because we were in the 80s yesterday. We're going to be upper 60s today, mostly cloudy. North winds gusting upwards of 25. Mostly cloudy through the evening. It will be late tonight, overnight, that those clouds begin to clear out, dropping back into the low 40s. That north breeze 5 to 10. Plentiful sunshine and seasonable tomorrow as well. Upper 60s, the 70s return. Some scattered shower, thunderstorm chances Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, keeping an eye on thunderstorm development late Friday evening across the area. Something we want to watch.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks. And coming up today at noon, we're making ham and scalloped potato casserole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings. Coming up on CBS Mornings, a look back at Rory McIlroy's historic victory at the Masters, where he became just the 6th golfer in history to win the career Grand Slam.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, cyclists come together in Joplin to help raise awareness about rider safety.
Plus, Lori Horton back in the studio to finish making those no-bake blueberry dream desserts. Of course, you want to stick around for that. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.